Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into how the 2026 World Cup was won. We're going to deconstruct exactly how Spain captured this historic victory at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Now, the 2026 tournament was literally the biggest ever, right? We're talking 48 teams sprawling across North America. But after all the wild drama and intense tactical battles, it was La Roja who stood alone at the summit.
Right off the bat, we've got to talk about the sheer magnitude of this win. I mean, it is absolutely staggering. Spain is now the unprecedented, simultaneous holder of both the men's and women's World Cup titles. No nation in the entire history of the sport has ever achieved this dual dominance at the exact same time. It's a massive, massive testament to the incredible infrastructure, youth development, and that cohesive footballing philosophy that's just so deeply rooted in the country.
But to really understand how they pulled this off, you just need to look at one specific number: 38. That represents the unbelievable, undefeated streak of Spain's midfield maestro, Rodri. Going into this tournament and right up through lifting the trophy, Rodri was the vital engine behind this legendary team. I mean, it's no surprise he was crowned the MVP of the tournament. When you have a player who simply refuses to lose for 38 consecutive matches, you've got this psychological and tactical anchor that just elevates everyone around him.
So the crucial point is, how did they actually execute this on the pitch? Well, it all comes down to manager Luis de la Fuente's tactical formula. And it wasn't just about passing for the sake of passing, right? His blueprint relied on minimum defensive errors, overwhelming possession, completely trusting in high-performing youth, intricate midfield passing, and high attacking efficiency. De la Fuente took a squad, which by the way was the 5th youngest in the entire 48-team tournament, and transformed them into this mature, unified machine that flawlessly executed his philosophy game after game.
And honestly, the execution was basically sheer perfection. Just look at this number. 1. That is the total number of goals Spain conceded throughout the entire grueling month-long tournament. Think about that for a second. To navigate a 48-team World Cup playing through an extended knockout format against literally some of the most dangerous attacking players on the planet and only allowing a single ball into the back of your net, that is unbelievable defensive solidity. It just proves that their high possession wasn't only an attacking tool. It was basically their ultimate form of defense.
Now, looking at this gauntlet of match results, it's clear it wasn't an easy road. After comfortably navigating their group, picking up key wins over Costa Rica and South Korea, Spain systematically dismantled European heavyweights on their path to the finale. They swept aside Austria 3-0, edged out Portugal 1-0, defeated Belgium 2-1, and then completely shut out Kylian Mbappe's France 2-0 in the semifinal. Finally, they faced the defending champions Argentina and ground out a 1-0 victory in extra time. It was a path of maximum resistance, and they cleared every single hurdle with just pure tactical discipline.
Now, when we look at the top goal scorers, you might notice something kind of fascinating. France's Kylian Mbappe won the Golden Boot with 10 goals, and Argentina's Lionel Messi followed closely with 8. But Spain's top scorer? That was Mikel Oyarzabal, sitting down at 5 goals. So while their biggest rivals relied super heavily on individual, generational superstars to carry their offensive load, Spain succeeded through a highly efficient, distributed team attack. They didn't need one player to score every goal. They just needed the collective unit to score the right goals at the exact right times.
Okay, before we get to the climax of the tournament, we have to shift gears for a second, because why was the World Cup final delayed? If you were watching the global broadcast, you definitely remember that unexpected delay that interrupted the biggest match in the world at MetLife Stadium right at halftime. It left millions of fans just scratching their heads while the players stood around waiting in the locker rooms.
Just look at this contrast. Normally, the IFAB rules are super strict, right? They mandate a halftime of no more than 15 minutes. But in New Jersey, we witnessed this crazy 27-minute Super Bowl-style spectacle. Curated by Coldplay's Chris Martin, the show featured Shakira, Justin Bieber, and Madonna, all aiming to raise $100 million for children's charities. It was a massive departure from football tradition. It actually caused the second half to kick off 12 minutes late, injecting this surreal sense of disbelief into what was already a highly tense championship final.
Well, eventually the music stopped, and it was time for the tactical battles to resume. Spain versus Argentina. The final wasn't just a game anymore. It was a severe clash of opposing tactical identities. European champions versus South American champions. It was an absolute tactical war between two vastly different approaches to the beautiful game, with literally everything on the line.
The contrast here was just staggering. You've got Spain on one side implementing this fluid, possession-based control, completely suffocating the pitch. On the other side, Lionel Scaloni's defending champions were forced into a gritty, really desperate defensive shell. Spain's relentless possession completely smothered Argentina, so much so that Argentina finished the game with 0 shots on target. And to make matters worse, Enzo Fernández received a red card in second-half stoppage time, forcing a 10-man Argentina to just hold on for dear life throughout all of extra time.
So how do you actually break through a 10-man wall? Let's break down the tactical masterclass of the winning goal. Step 1. Center back Aymeric Laporte intentionally holds the ball to provoke the press from Argentina's attackers. This creates space behind them. Step 2. Rodri instantly capitalizes on that space, connecting with Alex Baena, who perfectly times a run to completely bypass the first line of defense. Step 3. This patient build-up manipulates Argentina's exhausted backline, culminating in Ferran Torres sweeping home the decisive strike in the 106th minute. It was a flawless execution of De La Fuente's system exactly when the stakes were highest.
Let's zoom out for a second to really contextualize this timeline. This 2026 World Cup win isn't just some isolated fluke. This current system seamlessly connects 3 major international trophies, the UEFA Nations League in 2023, the European Championship in 2024, and now the absolute pinnacle of the sport, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This steady accumulation of hardware just proves that their tactical blueprint is virtually unbeatable on the global stage right now.
Which brings us to one massive question to wrap up this explainer. Are we witnessing a new dynasty? When you consider the fact that they had the 5th youngest roster in the entire tournament, led by fresh stars and anchored by seasoned veterans like Rodri, you really have to ask, is this incredibly young squad currently giving birth to the greatest international dynasty in football history? With Euro 2028 and a home World Cup in 2030 on the horizon, the world of football may just belong to Spain for a very, very long time.